Welcome, everyone. I'm glad you could join us today. We're here to discuss a very meaningful topic. The presentation is titled Funeral Prayer for Absentee, brought to you by Continuous Learning Development. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore the key aspects of conducting a respectful and heartfelt funeral prayer for those who are absent. Let's get started. Today, I want to talk about an important aspect of funeral practices, specifically the funeral prayer in absentia. As the slide states, it is permissible to perform the funeral prayer for someone whose body is out of town or even a bit farther away. The key point here is that physical distance does not prevent us from praying for the deceased. We see this practice supported by the Hadith of Abu Huraira, where the Prophet Muhammad, P.B.A., learned about the death of the king of Ethiopia, Najashi, on the very day he passed away. The Prophet instructed the companions to ask Allah's forgiveness for him, and they performed the prayer in rows at the musalla with 4 takbirs. This demonstrates how the community can come together in prayer, even if the body is not present. Ibn Hazm also emphasizes that the funeral prayer for an absentee can be performed collectively under an imam, which is a practice agreed upon by scholars and the companions. It highlights the importance of community and consensus in ensuring that even those who are absent are remembered and prayed for properly. So the main takeaway here is that performing a funeral prayer in absentia is not only allowed, but also a significant act of community solidarity and compassion. It connects us to the overall theme of caring for our fellow Muslims, no matter the circumstances. Let's look at the different Islamic schools of thought regarding performing the funeral prayer in absentia. Starting with the Maliki and Hanafi views, both agree that it is not allowed to perform the funeral prayer for someone who is not present, especially if the body is out of town or in a different location. The Shafi school, however, makes an exception. They say it is permissible to pray for an absent person if their body is outside the town, even if it's not far away. But importantly, this does not exempt the community from their obligation to pray when the body is actually in the same town. It's also worth noting that if the body is at the edge of a large city and difficult to reach, praying in absentia might be allowed. Now, the Hanbali school has a different stance. They permit praying for someone who is absent, but with some caveats. They emphasize that it's not practical or required to pray for everyone who passes away in distant lands, unless the person made significant contributions to the Muslim community and died in non-Muslim lands. The overarching theme here is that, while there are differences, the core principle remains about the importance and limitations of praying in absentia, especially considering the circumstances and the contributions of the individual. This helps us understand the nuanced approaches within our Islamic tradition, all connected to our shared goal of honoring the deceased while respecting practical realities.